What's your reaction to what has happened today?
Yeah, thank you very much. Good evening. Thank you for having me here. And good evening to my co-panelists, my boss, Dr. Tira Champon, and Honorable Dr. Kiso. So I think that this represents a first major breakthrough for us as a country. If you look at the speed with which the IMF approached or responded to the call, it was a distress call, right? It was a distress call that was placed on the 1st of July. And the IMF responded quite positively. I mean, they were already in town within 1 week of the call. They have demonstrated their commitment. And so far, they've worked around the clock in reaching staff-level agreements, broadly outlining the framework in terms of the fiscal adjustments, structural reforms, inbuilt program monitoring mechanisms, and all of that. But we do know that a staff-level agreement is not the same as a program, okay? And the reason now we've had to pause at the staff-level agreement is because of the certain prior actions that have to be taken, because largely our debt is unsustainable. In the time past, when we had gone to the IMF with pretty sustainable debt level, right from staff level agreement, the next level was the IMF Executive Board. But now, because of the nature of our debt and the need for some kind of debt restructuring and other prior actions, now this may delay before the staff level agreement goes to the board. So what it means essentially now is that even though this conveys positive news to the markets, right, that Ghana has demonstrated, right, some level of commitment, attachment that it would embark upon in the next 3-4 years or so. But what it also means is that it now shifts the burden to the government now, because the IMF has done its part, taking us to staff level agreement. Now it's up to us as a country to do the necessary other things in order for the staff level agreement to go to the fund. So there's a lot that we have to do. So it doesn't suggest that we have to go home and pop champagne or whatever. The more difficult things are now going to be done. Because if you look at the way the staff level agreement works, is between the IMF and authorities, right? But now the other things that have to be done would involve third parties. It would involve creditors buy-in, right? Both domestic and then external. And already government's first level attempts to restructuring the domestic debt has actually backfired, right? The approach was completely wrong. The terms are too lopsided. And therefore that pushback in itself tells you that there's a lot more work that has to be done in getting stakeholders involved. Because this involves trading of money, right? People's hard-earned money. People traded off consumption over the years in order to invest in government securities because they want to consume more in future. But now what is happening is that people are actually seeing their money actually going, right? Already inflation has reduced it to negative return. Market to market has already imposed some haircuts on them. So perhaps the question is, should it get worse than this? But that is where we are. A certain level of haircut seems unavoidable. But government should accommodate investors in choosing the style of the haircuts that they would want to have. That should also not be an imposition. Essentially, what I'm saying is that some level of discussion, consultation is needed. The debt exchange in its current form is actually weakening systematically the balance sheet of the participating financial institutions. Thank you.